You feel mad? You can feel mad. You feel sad? You can feel sad. You feel disappointed or hurt? It's okay for you to feel those things. That's part of the human experience. But what we don't want to do is allow these feelings and these emotions to corrupt our life. What we don't want to allow is for us to not deal with these things and it turn to poison and toxicity, not only in our body, but also with how we function as a human being, right? Greetings to you all. How the kids doing? How's the family doing? How are you doing? It's been so long since I've gotten a second to just sit down and talk to you guys. So I'm really excited to get into this episode and to be able to just talk to you guys because I know it's been a while. For those that's new to this channel, hi, I am Coach Keyz, and I am the dopest holistic health coach out here to do it. What I do is I deep dive into the interconnected pieces of the mind, body, and spirit, create a safe space for us to heal, grow, do introspection, and just be able to evolve and develop into a higher being, right? Y'all already see the title. This episode is for the indigenous people. It's for the oddballs, for the black sheep, for those that don't feel understood in this world, right? Those that don't feel like they fit in this world. And also for the people that have dealt with trauma and have a past of trauma, some type of abuse, neglect, right? Malnourishment in some form or fashion. At the end of this video, go ahead and share your thoughts, your feedback, definitely if you resonated with the things that I'm saying. And also, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and join the Royal Tribe. Go ahead and subscribe, like, share. Let's spread the word. Let's spread the love. Let's spread the light because it's needed, and it's needed more now than ever before, and even more in the future as things continue to go in the direction that it's going. So now more than ever before, we have to become self-sufficient. And I mean that in so many ways, as far as food, as far as education, as far as financial stability, being able to monetize your skills and your talents so that you can be able to make a living and live a stress-free life, right? And get your time back for the entrepreneurs and for those that don't want to go on the path of entrepreneurship, finding a job, one job, not having to work 2-3 jobs to make a living and take care of you and your family, but finding a job, finding a career that has opportunities of growth and opportunities to continue to excel not only in the professional world, but also in your personal world, right? To be able to communicate better, to be able to have financial literacy and interpersonal skills, communication skills, and all the things that's needed in order to function and thrive within this lifetime. So speaking of thrive, we have to get out of survival mode, right? A lot of times when you're just trying to survive, you're just trying to do the bare minimum. Sometimes when you're emotionally drained and you got mental turmoil going on, sometimes you don't have energy to exert, right? Sometimes you just have to do the bare minimum. Just get out of bed, take all the energy that you have. So I want to shift this from a mentality of surviving to thriving and understand what goes into this and what it looks like. Me and my people, my demographic specifically, we've had to deal with a lot of trauma that most races didn't have to deal with, being abused, being taken advantage of, and still thriving, finding a way out of no way. We continue to excel and find us in rooms that once upon a time, we was not allowed to be in. Not only Black people, but women. So how do we switch from going to survival to thriving? What is your mentality when you're under pressure? When you're on the edge? What are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Are you just going to sit there on the edge and starve until you die? Are you going to jump? Are you going to take the risk? Are you going to stay there until you're forced, until you're pushed off of that edge? What's your thought process? How do you move under pressure? Think about it. I don't say this often, but I would advise you guys to always have a notepad by you. When you're watching any podcast, not even just mine, but a lot of times it's helpful to be able to write things down, because everything that I'm saying, you're not going to remember. But if you write it down, you can look over it 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, however many times you need to look over it for it to stick in your head. So if you know that you deal with chronic stress, if you know you deal with trauma, if you know you deal with a lot of adversity in life, and you're constantly in a state of survival instead of thriving, this message is for you. I want to help you. I want to help us. I want to help us to learn how to stay level-headed, right? To learn how to process our emotions and know how to be able to express yourself and release your emotions without holding on to it. And being able to show up for yourself first, right? And after you show up for yourself and you process and you do what you need to do to release the trauma, to release those emotions that you're feeling, furthermore, be able to show up for the other people that you love and you care for. So when your back is against the wall, are you just going to give in? Are you just going to stay right there in the wall? Are you going to use the wall to push off and catapult you forward, to move you forward? Use it as a tool to pivot you into your next season. What's going to be your mentality? Through the hurt and the pain and the trauma and the disappointments? Are you going to look at it with a victim mentality? Are you going to look at it with the mentality of pride and ego? Or are you going to look and observe the situation with humility, understanding your limits and your abilities as who you are, your strengths and your weaknesses? We all have them. We all have insecurities. We all have things we can work on. We all have weaknesses. But how do we use those weaknesses as tools? How do we use our hurt as a tool? A lot of times stuff don't become real until it happens to us and it's personal. And this is across the board with anything, regardless if it's crime, black violence, sexual assault, sexual diseases, drug abuse, mental health crisis, capitalism, women's rights, gun violence, and so much more. I could really go on and on and on about a lot of the issues that we're having that a lot of people are unaware of or just choose to not advocate for because they haven't hit home yet. It's not their little cousin. It's not their brother. It's not their body. It's not their situation. They don't have to deal with the circumstances, what's going on. First thing first, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're taking notes, write this down. Invest in yourself. I'm going to say that again. Invest in yourself. Exclamation mark. Invest in yourself. Yeah, I'm not just talking about financially. Mentally, invest in yourself. Spiritually, invest in yourself. Physically, move your body. Invest in yourself. Invest in your well-being. And investments don't always take money. Sometimes it just takes time and energy and intention. You can invest in yourself by getting involved with community groups. Start reading books. YouTube University. There's so much knowledge out here. Get a mentor or get a therapist if you can afford it or if you have the benefits with your job. Self-love is the best love. Once again, we have to show up for ourselves before we can show up for anybody else. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're checking in on yourself and you're asking yourself how you're doing. While I'm also talking about these things, I also want y'all to check out the last video that I uploaded. I did a workshop on stress management, which is really, really good. And I feel like it goes hand in hand with some of the things that I'm talking about now, because a lot of these things that I'm talking about now, when it comes to trauma and disappointments and hurt and pain and all this, it has to do with stress and how we're allowing things to affect us and impact our body and our life and not being able to catch it, right? Because we're not monitoring ourselves. We're not checking in ourselves. So it take us to be burned out. It take us to have a mental health crisis. It take us to lose the job. It take us to lose our marriage. It take us to be in some type of even more traumatic experience to have a wake-up call like, ooh, whoa, I got a lot going on. I got a lot of hurt. I got a lot of pain that I'm not dealing with. And it's causing even more issues in my life. It's causing issues in my ability to communicate. It's causing issues to my ability to be a good friend, to be a good partner, to be a good boss, to be a good manager, to be a good coworker, to be a decent human being. Because I'm so hurt and traumatized. Check in on yourself. Love on yourself. Show up for yourself. So instead of suppressing and masking your emotions, feel your emotions. Emotions, we're human. There's no such thing as a bad emotion. You feel mad? You can feel mad. You feel sad? You can feel sad. You feel disappointed or hurt? It's okay for you to feel those things. That's part of the human experience. But what we don't want to do is allow these feelings and these emotions to corrupt our life. What we don't want to allow is for us to not deal with these things and it turn to poison and toxicity, not only in our body, but also with how we function as a human being, right? Showing up in our DNA, having sicknesses, cancer, AFib, whatever, pulmonary disease, some type of heart condition. So let's learn how to deal with oppression. Instead of going over the issue, going through it. And to stop adapting this toxic mentality of just suppressing and masking and showing up as if we're happy when we're really not happy. That's normal. It's not normal. And it's not okay. So let's stop normalizing masking, faking it till you make it. Understand that we are currency, right? We all came into this world with a social security number, and we came into the world with a social security number to identify us, right? So our being, just from existing, just from being birthed on this world, you automatically have a value. And I'm not even talking about spiritual. I'm talking about economically right now. One human life is worth $10 million. You heard me right. $10 million just from being born. Time plus space, parentheses, opportunities. When there's space, there's opportunities, right? Time plus space plus energy equals being, equals currency. So that means how you spend your time, right? How you take up space, how you spend your energy equals your currency, your frequency. So what are you going to do with your past? Are you going to look like your past? Are you going to be a product of your trauma? Or are you going to choose to be better? Are you going to choose to be greater? Are you going to choose to be more than what people think you have the capacity of being? Are you going to be under the influence? Are you going to be the influence? Every day, we get to choose the impact we have on people's lives. So what type of legacy are you going to leave? Are you going to be the influence that people look at you and say, I want to be like that person. I want to adapt the same mannerisms, the same habits that they have. I want to live a life similar to them, a life of excellence, a life of wealth, a life of healthiness, of balance, of peace, of joy, of stability. You get to choose. I don't care what your background look like. I don't care what your history look like. Deal with your traumas. Deal with your hurt. Process it. Find a community, find a therapist, find a mentor, find someone that is more advanced emotionally than you that can help you work through these things. We deep dive into all of these things. Mind, body, and spirit. We keeping it real, we keeping it raw, and we keeping it relatable on here. Creating a safe space for us all to grow, to do the introspection, to be able to look at ourselves and say, you know what? I'm not perfect. I have limitations that I know can be worked on. I have things I know that are affecting the way I show, not only for myself, but the people that I love and I care for, and also show up for this world and be able to operate in my purpose. I want you to be your highest self, and I mean that with all of my heart, guys. But in order for you to be your highest self, in order for you to live a life of alignment, in order for you to live a purpose-driven life, you have to deal with the turmoil. You have to deal with the poison. You have to deal with your toxic ways. You have to deal with your toxic mentality. You have to deal with your insecurities and your hurt and your pain and your trauma. And you have to forgive and you have to let go and you have to release. And I want y'all to understand, this is not an easy journey by far, nor does it feel good. It's very painful to relive your trauma, to have to talk about it, to think about it. No, it don't feel good. But what I want to encourage you guys right now is, if you use that pain, if you use that hurt as leverage to push you and pivot you forward, you will be something so far more greater than your past history. Just imagine living a life far more than you could ever imagine. Not just you, but the people around you. To be able to surpass anything you could ever fathom. To really step into your power and understand that you are more. Your life is more. Your purpose is more. But you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to get vulnerable and look at the ugly parts of yourself, the parts of yourself that you may not be so proud of, right? Things that you might not want the world to see because you have yet to accept and love those pieces of yourself. So before I end this podcast, I want to briefly just wrap up and do a recap of everything that we have discussed today. Number one, self-love is the best love. Show up for yourself before you can show up for anybody else. You can't love no one greater than you can love yourself. You can't give anyone else peace if you haven't given yourself peace and grace. You got to first be able to give these things to yourself, even in your most ugliest, darkest moments. Number two, invest in yourself. Get involved in a community group, YouTube University, find a mentor, start therapy. Hold yourself accountable. Read books, watch more podcasts like this, right? Become part of the community. Get involved with people that are on the same mission as you, that's trying to heal, that's trying to do better in life, that's trying to be more, trying to be their best self. Number three, stop suppressing your emotions. We are no longer normalizing that. That is not cool. We feel our emotions. That's cool. We process. We're self-aware. We're growing up. We're doing the work and holding ourselves accountable and not letting us continue to do things that's only going to bring us harm or keep us stagnant in this lifetime. Life is too precious. Give it all you got. Number 4, remember, we are currency. We are energy. The amount of money you make. Everything around you is a reflection of you and your mentality and what you feel like your worth is and what you're content with and what your insecurities are and what's your beliefs, what's your illusions. Everything is a mirror of you. The energy that you give out is the energy that you receive. What you fear is what comes back to you. What you think about is what comes back to you. What you dwell on, what you put your energy into, what opportunities you take and you don't take, it's all a part of your currency. What are you doing with the opportunities that come in your life? What are you doing with the resources that's coming into your life? What are you doing with the blessings that's coming into your life? Are you appreciative of them? Are you continuing to dwell on the negative things and the things that you lack in this lifetime? Wow. And lastly, will you be under the influence or over? Will you be the trendsetter? Will you set the rules? Or you follow the rules of everybody else, the rules that everybody else has set? Are you going to be your authentic self and stop masking and trying to fit in with everybody else? Or are you going to finally set yourself free and be who you have called to be, which is an individual? No, everyone isn't going to understand you. No, everyone isn't going to understand your pain, but understand your story, your pain, your trauma, your vulnerability is for someone. Someone needs to hear your story. But until you heal, until you do the work, you can't help anybody. Until you help yourself, you can't help anybody. So I just want to encourage you guys, walk this journey with me. Let's walk this journey together. Join the Royal Tribe. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Like I said before, we're keeping it real, we're keeping it raw, we're keeping it relatable. So I hope as I heal, you guys heal with me. And until next time, peace, love, and blessings.